Good morning. Hello and welcome. Well, it's morning here. Um, so, this morning, or just now at this moment, I've been picking up and sensing a variety of energies and receiving a variety of messages from my higher realm team. So, this video is going to kind of be all over the place a little bit. We're going to get a mixture of energy updates, intuitive messages, and then even throw in there autism support messages. So it's a little bit of everything, because they all kind of coincide together. So first, the energy I was sensing today, it's interesting because time has felt like it's been really speeding up, and I don't know if others have been feeling that. So there's this energy of time really speeding up. There's this fiery energy of just move, 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 and just things building up, building up, building up. And then today, there's this energy of pause. And maybe even a sense of, not really insecurity, but because things have been moving so fast and there's been this aligned flow to it, let's say. So there's been this aligned flow to the pace of the energy. So, in that, it kind of manifests this feeling of, okay, I'm on the right path, things are going well, you feel aligned in your choices. There's a sense of confidence in where you're heading and just, in the direction you're flowing. And then almost in this pause right now, it is kind of bringing forward this energy of not feeling that secure, right? Or now maybe questioning the choices or wondering, okay, is it still flowing and moving in this positive, aligned flow? So that is some of what I was sensing today. And what's interesting is in this pause, what the intuitive message was that I was receiving through my higher realm team is that the pause isn't even really about that. It's now about, I kept receiving, it's about creating that space, like that sacred space for yourself. Attending to your home, let's say, or wherever you are the most, right? So it's like building a foundation in that right now, creating a sort of a sanctuary. It's about creating an environment where you are the most, so that then it translates and kind of spills out into other areas of your life, so that you feel this, I guess, this even flow, this even keel throughout, right? Where your sense of peace is felt in all areas. So it doesn't matter where you lay your feet, that energy is present in everything. So I'm hoping that's making sense. So in understanding that energy and what this energy is presenting and bringing forward and arising to our awareness in building this space. So it's, I was seeing, like doing the deep cleaning, the deep cleansing, and it could be spring, right? The whole spring cleaning aspect of things. It's that sense of home in every space you're in. So, and then what also began or brought forward with this um, message, and it was interesting because this part that I'm going to speak about now came to me first, and I thought that was going to be the video I was supposed to make, but then as the morning has progressed, it's become kind of all encompassing. So, um, so something that has been a video that I've been wanting to make for a bit, and then just hasn't happened, and I guess now we're bringing it forward. So, in aspects of, you know, I'm gonna gear it towards more with special needs with autism, right? Because as much as, I would never say I'm an expert in any way, shape, or form, but having raised and continuing to be raising two boys, and mostly more like men now on the spectrum, right? Because my oldest is 20 and my youngest is almost 18. And it's things that, when I say this, it's not that I had all the answers back then, especially, and I've shared in many videos where, for me, basically being this single mom and that limiting kind of support, it was and still is sometimes, right? Where now there is more of an awareness, so I can kind of catch myself. But at the beginning stages, especially when they were really young and, you know, newly diagnosed and just beginning to start, you know, these programs through the community center here where I live, that is there to help support, children and families who have children with special needs, especially autism. And this was a whole new world for me, and things that I began to realize and put into place, but even more so now, I see the importance and the benefits of some of these little techniques and tools that can help you as the caregiver, and then in turn support that person you're caring for. And really, as much as I'm saying this is for like I said, with autism, but really it's especially all young people, right? Like it's are just humans in general, right? We tend to forget that, especially with children too, whether they're on the spectrum or not, they struggle to understand their emotions, right? They struggle to understand how to process and navigate them. And even for us as adults, we struggle with that. And yet we're putting these expectations on children who their frontal lobe hasn't developed, and it kind of doesn't until 1920, right? Like until they're 20, and sometimes still not really there, right? So it's an understanding again about creating that space, right? Because it all starts, if we're looking at it again, like I said, from the caregiver supporting these younger children, and older, it really begins with us first, and then how we approach and interact and the space we create. So it's so important to understand that. So, like for me now, as I've said with my boys, so the first thing, sorry, there's just so many thoughts. I'm trying to figure out how do I put these into words and articulate them and communicate them. So something that, I notice a lot, of course, with my boys is, especially with ones who are in school, but even if they're not in school, just in general, right? There is this, whether they're consciously aware of it or not, right? They struggle to they try to hold it all together when they are at school, daycare, in the care of somebody else that is not their parent, right? Or their significant or specific, constant caregiver. So, so they have this expectation to be good, right? They gotta be good, they gotta behave, they need to present in this certain way to make it through school. And by the time they get home, they are so overwhelmed in their emotions without realizing it that, yeah, by the time they get home, probably you as that caregiver will get the brunt of it. But it's understanding that they do that with you because you're the person they trust the most. And you don't realize that sometimes because you're like, oh, you're always so good for everybody else and you treat me like this. It's because they've worked so hard. And in some ways, in their mind too, they know that if they do well there, that is also a reflection of you as their caregiver. So imagine the impact that they carry, the responsibility they're feeling by doing that, whether they're consciously aware of it or not. But they understand too that us being good for so and so will make mom, dad, whoever the caregiver is, more impressed with me, right? And then they come home and it translates to something different, right? So it's understanding that as well. But back to like sort of the beginning part. So, when my boys would come home from school, from coming off the bus, and of course, as a parent, right, your whole thing's like, oh, how was your day? And you start asking questions, blah, blah, blah. But, oh my gosh, that is like the straw that broke the camel's back for them. They need to come home and decompress, just like you need that decompression, right? Even though sometimes you don't get it because as soon as you come home from work or come home from your day, boom, your family and all these other responsibilities, attack you in a way. And that's the same thing with them. So it's understanding that, letting them kind of come to you. So, and give them at least a good half an hour, 20 minutes to half an hour. So when they come home, you need to give them either, that time to, in some way, whatever it is that they need to burn off that energy. So they may need to maybe run outside in the backyard or at the park for 20 minutes. Let them do that, right? I know sometimes it's inconvenient for you, but they need that, and then it will make the day run more smoothly, right? Because they've let that out. So, or sometimes it's creating that space. So, having like the gentle type of yoga meditation music gently in the background. Having essential oils, or if you can, like in diffusing, or incense depending on sensitivities, right? So creating that and just kind of giving them that little bit of space, but being close. And maybe they need the hug, maybe they don't, right? It's understanding because they're all different, and some kids just don't want to be touched right away, and some kids do need that embrace right away. So it all starts with you, right? So it's just you approaching them in a calm voice, right? You need to check in with yourself first, and then that will translate out to those that you care about. So it's about being, doing your breathing ahead of time when right? So it's like checking in for a minute, just breathing in through the nose and out through the nose, just kind of letting it out, shaking the body if you need to, and then connecting to that child and giving them those few minutes and just saying, okay, here's the timer, right? And timers are great, especially, again, for children with autism. They need that visual and it helps them. So having some type of alarm, having that kind of visual clock for them that they can see, saying, okay, you get this amount of time right now to just do what you need to do. If you need to go to your room, if you need to maybe watch a TV show, but this is the amount of time that you get, and then we need to start our day, right? And that also gives you some time to just like, okay, you know, what's my checklist? And that helps them, right? And it's understanding. Also, like a great tool that I learned in being with these different support groups in that community, in that center, tools that they taught me too. Like a big one that's really good is the first and then board, right? So it's like, or the first and then. So it's like, first we do this, and then we do this. So often it's presenting them with maybe something that's not favorable. So first we're going to do this for this amount of time, or, and then we'll do the thing that they do like, right? So it's that balance, right, of first and then. So first we do this, which we know you're not crazy about, but look, after, once you do this that I'm asking of you, look at all this cool stuff you get to do after, right? And it's just always back and forth. And it's building that. But it's so important to start first with you and how you create the environment, and then that sets the tone for your child as well. So it's really important understanding that. So this was something that my team really wanted me to bring forward, in understanding the need, and especially right now with this pause energy, it is really about bringing that conscious awareness to your space, right? Because again, I feel like the energy is going to ramp up again, and you really need to build this foundation to create more of an ease kind of flow, right? Not easier, but it's an ease, right? You're easing into this flow and finding the balance, finding the movement, navigating through it. And it starts with us as the adult, right? Because we're the one then mentoring it for the people around us. So this was something that they felt was really important to share today. So again, just to kind of recap. So right now, as much as the energy has been rapid, there's a sense of a pause right now, but it's so that you can gather all that's been happening, create a space that creates a sense of peace for you so that you can navigate the next rapid energy that is coming. It's very important right now to create the space, remove what are the distractions, remove what overstimulates, so that you can then have a clearer vision of how to continue to proceed. And it's understanding that in creating that space, it then translates into all aspects of your life, of your world. And that right now, too, there's a big emphasis on those who have children in their life. Doesn't matter what age they are. It is very important that this gets translated into that area of your world too, because they need that. They need that safe space so that they can then learn to navigate their emotions and recognize as well, because they need that sense of decompression as well. And that's it. That was today's message from the higher realm peeps, surrounding you all in love. Until next time, have a wonderful day, and remember, you are safe, you are seen, you are whole, you are loved.